Okay. So, I'm already off kilter. Hold on. Happy Thursday, everyone. Okay, let's get to my low, my high, my act of kindness. I would say that my low was actually, yeah, my low is the fact that I can't keep this straight. No, my low is I got up particularly late this morning. Well, it's not like I got up late per se, but I want to do some tidying up around here because I'm gonna be. There's a spoiler. I'm gonna be on vacation next week. So, needless to say, I had to do some tidying up around here as I prepare for not being here for a week. Um, my high is um, let's see what would constitute as my high. My high is I guess it was kind of nice to have the day to myself yesterday, and I'm probably gonna have the day to myself again, even though I wish for that not to be the case, because a certain member of my family has COVID, and it's someone that I see pretty regularly. It's not my mom or my dad. Don't worry. It's neither one of them, but it is a member of my family. I'm not gonna say who it is. And said person is staying at my folks' place, so not entirely sure if that's a wise decision, but he had nowhere to go, so he didn't want the rest of his family getting sick either. So, what could he do? Um, so there's that. My act of kindness was I did a couple of errands for my grandmother. She actually wanted a lunch from Sorges, so I went to get it for her. Actually, I should talk about Sorges momentarily. So, actually, I already did the intro. So, yeah, I can talk about Sorges right now. Okay, so obviously, Sorges is probably the place I've been to more than anywhere else in my entire life. And between me and every other member of my family, we know that entire menu inside and out. And one thing that always really kind of fascinated me is, well, for one thing, Sorges is known for making their homemade pasta. In fact, they've actually broken not one, but two world records, actually. They broke one record for making the world's longest pasta noodle, and they broke another world record by making the world's largest pot of sauce. So, they got some, they got some pedigree to them in that regard. Huh. So, needless to say, Sorge has been making making homemade pasta for probably about as long as it's existed. But one sort of pasta that definitely interested me the most is a pasta they make called Cavatellis. And keep in mind, I have no idea where the name comes from. I just know what it's called and what it looks like. And what it looks like really fascinates me because I'll never forget learning about this in like first grade, right? Because in first grade, that's when you start learning about like more detailed animals and what's out there. And there's this one insect called a grub, which looks like a long white, like bulbous looking bug or whatever. Cavatellis kind of look like grubs. And come to think of it, when you put Sorge's homemade sauce on them, they really do look it. But I shouldn't just say that, they look like, oh, I should probably tell you, bugs are perfectly safe to eat. Most of the time. I mean, there may be one bug or two that's not Actually, are yeah, I think all bugs are safe to eat. I think they are. I mean, I do know that in first grade, where I learned what grubs are, a friend of mine actually told us one story how someone that she knew was lost in the woods for about 3 days, and that person survived by eating grubs. And that's actually a good thing. Obviously, for the sake of survival, but. And I've talked about this a few times before. In fact, one of my heroes, Andrew Zimmer, is really pushing for this as well. We really do need to start consider eating insects as an alternative form of protein. And I know what the deal is. Oh, ew, bugs are gross and icky, and well, I can't argue with that. Some bugs creep me out too. Especially when you realize, like, what feels like something's crawling on me. Oh, yeah. Like that, you know? Trust me, that's happened to me a lot more than I care to talk about. But literally all bugs have enormous amounts of protein and nutrients in them. In fact, I think I once read a comparison that 1 pound of crickets has roughly 5 times more protein than 1 pound of ground beef. I think it's like a pound of ground beef is like 12% protein. Meanwhile, a pound of crickets would be like 60% protein. So that's really interesting. Now, where do I stand on this? I try. Sure, I would. I mean, we live in a day and age where we're starting to become more aware of our surroundings, and, you know, we are becoming more environmentally conscious. And, big old, I say environmentally conscious and like a giant motorcycle just revs its engine nearby. Someone apparently didn't like what I had to say there. Joking aside. Yeah, I'd give bugs a chance if I had the opportunity to do it. See, that's the thing. It's one thing to say that, you know, we have to explore more alternative options for how we get our, you know, nutrients in the world. It's another thing to actually obtain them, though. Because I live in upstate New York. Not very many options of getting stuff like crickets or grasshoppers or grubs or whatever, unless you're actually going out in the woods and exploring for that stuff. And it's not like a big box store like Walmart is going to have them on hand. Or maybe they do. Do they? I don't think they do. They probably should. Look, I really didn't mean to talk about, eating bugs. What I meant to talk about is the food I got from my grandmother yesterday. Because I'll never forget the first time I tried Cavatelli's. Yeah, sorry, my eye kind of itches. I have like a sty forming in my eye right now. And like if it itches, I'm like itching near my nose, scratching near my nose, that's fine. But like anything beyond that, like that's where it's like kind of hurts a little bit. Like I just tried it, and I really seriously. If you go to Sorge's and go for like their pasta buffet, they have Cavatelli's there, so you can check them out for yourself. But they are very good, and I do highly recommend you try them once. Just because, I mean, from my experience, you know, I grew up in which like the only pasta you know for eating are like spaghetti, fettuccine. Actually, what pasta shapes have I eaten? I've eaten spaghetti, linguine, angel hair, thin spaghetti, unless that and angel hair are the same thing. Fettuccine, rigatoni, the bow ties, elbows or macaroni, cavatellis. I've had egg noodles in the form of lasagna before. Manicotti. That might be about it. Oh, I have had ravioli before, but that's really not. Is ravioli considered a pasta shape? I don't know. Um, hmm. The corkscrew pasta, that's another one. Rotinis, that's another one. Wow, I'm eating a lot of different kinds of pasta. I count 14 right now. Oh, shells. I've had shells. Um, yeah. Like, I've had like 15 different kinds of pasta, and here's the funny part, there's still like hundreds, if not thousands, of different kinds of pasta in the world that like you can try. Don't get me wrong, I have no intention of trying to seek them all out. Like, that's the sort of thing where, unless you're like from a die-hard Italian family and like you have the funds to travel all over the world, you're not really gonna, there's no way you're gonna be able to have them all. You just won't. Honestly, though, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with just sticking to what I know. And it's great. I wouldn't change that for the world. But I do like, I wouldn't mind trying. Actually, I've never had squid ink pasta before. And for those of you who don't know what squid ink pasta is exactly what it sounds like. They take the ink sacs out of squids, and they add that into the pasta dough when rolling out and making their pasta. And obviously, since ink is black, the pasta itself is black. And it's one of those things where I want to try it, but okay, how do I break this down? I absolutely do want to try it, but I'm not in a hurry to do so. Not because like I'm grossed out by it, because I'm not grossed out by it at all. It's just stuff like that's just hard to find in restaurants, or I'm pretty sure they don't even have it in stores either. So it's an item. Basically, it's an item that's hard to come by, and that's why I'm not in a hurry to find it. It's nothing to do with the process used to make, because again, I just mentioned I'm not grossed out by that at all. So, yeah, I'd try it. I would try squid ink pasta. I would try bugs. Andrew Zimmern didn't say if it looks good, eat it. Well, shoot, if it does look good, I'll give it a try. Seriously, it's as if Andrew Zimmern might as well have been taking over this episode. I love Andrew Zimmern. Andrew Zimmern's the man. He still has one of my all-time. Seriously, I'm talking about Hot Ones today. I'll be honest. I looked up who the guy is today on Hot Ones. I'm blanking on who the guest is on Hot Ones this week. I really am. Like, I think there's like an R in his name. That's all I remember. I mean, I have seen him in photos with Mr. Beast. So I presume he's probably worked with Mr. Beast before. Other than that, I don't really know that much about who this guest is. I'm still going to watch today's episode, of course, and I should still be thoroughly entertained, regardless of what happens. But I personally don't know off the top of my head if what we're in for, who this guy is, I just don't. But who knows? Maybe I'll be pleasantly surprised. I don't know. I guess right now I seem kind of burnt out, I guess. I mean, for all intents and purposes, I start vacation this upcoming next week. And there is something I mean, in terms of things going on today, outside of Hot Ones, of course, I know Eldridge Park is having free carousel rides, which sounds like fun, but it would kind of be weird if I didn't have my family go with me, you know? I don't know. Maybe I'll give it a try. I mean, there's no way it's going to be as big of a disappointment as having a 90s concert and Coolio not showing up. Oh, boy. I mean, don't get me wrong, I am still kind of sad I missed out on the opportunity, but I think it would have been a lot worse if Coolio had shown up. Because, honestly, since that concert, Coolio not showing up is what everyone's been talking about. At least from what I've seen. Right, for those of you who haven't been paying attention, last week at Tags, there was a concert at like Vanilla Ice, Tone Loc, Coolio, all that stuff, and Coolio didn't show up. That's all it was. Huge disappointment. I mean, I don't think anyone actually asked for a refund, but stuff like that could potentially constitute a refund. I don't know. I just wanted to be Friday already so I can just go on vacation. One more day. Like, favorite, share, hit the subscribe button. If you liked what I did, please leave a like. If you do my channel, great. Subscribe to my channel. I'd like to do this full time, if at all possible. It'd be great. But I need likes and subscribes subscribers. As always, I am very humble in this video for all of you guys watching. Enjoy our fame. Hopefully you have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Thursday. And remember, if any of you guys want to talk or chat, I'm always going to be here to lend it. Always have your back. Take care. Make good choices. 607 all day, baby.